Hey everyone, how we doing today? This is James Sweeney, aka SplitSuit, and welcome back to another video. And as part of the Ask SplitSuit a Question series, a couple people did ask hand history questions, and this one actually came privately via Facebook. And Maxime wanted me to look at a weird hand that he played this morning against an unknown, and he just asked if I had any feedback or comments. So let's look at the hand. Okay, so this hand is from 10 No Limit Online. There's a raise from the hijack. Here decides to 3-bet, and as a default I'm going to be just fine with this. I assume that in a 10 no limit game that there's going to be a lot of mistakes made against this 3-bet. If he folds too much, fine. If he calls too much, fine. And I really don't expect much 4-betting at this limit. So it's just one of those where kind of regardless of how he adjusts or reacts to my 3-bet, I definitely assume that this is going to be just fine. So we end up getting called, end up going heads up to the flop. Flop overs and a flush draw, which is essentially one of the nut flops you're going to catch with a hand like this. And here decides to check back. And I would definitely ask Maxime why we're checking here. You know, what does this check really accomplish? This is just one of those where I would be continuation betting with a lot of different hands here. I'm going to be c-betting with my big hands, and I need to c-bet with some bluffs and semi-bluffs as well, and this definitely fits the bill. So whenever you have this kind of massive chunk of equity, we almost always want to be being very aggressive with it. So I would definitely just continuation bet here. Something like $1.25 will definitely get the job done. And yes, he's not going to fold over pairs, right? He's not going to fold jacks. He's not going to fold queens, blah, blah, blah. But if he folds ace king, great for us, fine, no problem. If he even calls with a hand like tens or jacks, whatever. We still have massive amounts of equity plus position. We're going to be able to do whatever the heck we want to do. So this is just one of those situations where it's really criminal to check here, in my opinion. You're just really not getting check raised here enough of the time, and even if you do, who the heck cares? So it's one of those where, again, just fire this and feel very comfortable. As played, goes check on the flop, queen on the turn, and here decides to check again. And again, I'm really confused why we're checking here. This is just a great situation. We have the best hand here almost 100% of the time. I mean, yes, maybe he occasionally has aces, kings, or queens, but I think we would have heard from one of those hands by now. So I would just bet. Try to get looked up by jacks, try to get looked up by tens, you know, those kind of hands. And I think there's a lot of different ways to get looked up by those hands. It's 10 no limit. I don't think our opponent's going to be good enough to fold for one bet now. I think this is definitely, again, another situation where we should bet like $1.25 and just go from there. And again, it's totally for value. But as played, it goes check. We end up rivering 2-pair, check. Here decides to bet. Glad that we're finally betting. I think the bet size is too small though. And we end up getting check raised. So here decides to fold here, and I'm just going to talk about this for a moment. So Maxime, I think you really misplayed this hand. So in the future, I want you to never ever play this hand this way again. There's just no reason to, no excuse to. It just don't do this, okay? And we all make mistakes. That is what it is. So as long as we learn from those mistakes, that's all that matters. But in this situation, what is he repping, right? I mean, if he had a big hand, wouldn't he have either bet the turn or bet the river or done something? So it's just one of those where he can't really have very many spade combos, and if he's bad enough to have spade combos, being that the ace and the queen are blocked out, well, then there's a lot of reasons for us to have bet earlier in the hand. And then also, maybe he does this with ace king. I don't know. Maybe he does this with air because your hand makes no sense, your line makes no sense as played. I don't know. I can't put him on a big enough hand here, and it makes no damn sense. I only need to be good a third of the time. I think we're definitely good way more than that. So I would just snap this off and feel very comfortable. But again, I never really get to the river like this. I think this was poorly played on the flop, poorly played on the turn, and that we left a lot of value on the table as played. So again, Maxime, as long as you learn from this and you never make this mistake again, that's all that matters. So Maxime, thanks for the great hand, and hopefully this helps you the next time you find yourself in a similar situation, and hopefully you don't take this same line again in the future. And if you or anyone else has a poker-related hand or question, feel free to leave it on our Google Plus page. I'll leave a link for that in the description box. And also, please make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying these types of videos. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, good luck out there, and happy grinding!